Hey, it's Michelle. I am making bacon chocolate chip cookies today of Steve Shannon's request, so we'll have to make sure he gets some. The first step that you have to do is cook bacon and then chop it and then slice it. Or if you are not ready to do that, you can buy bacon bits. It makes your life easier as long as you have the equivalent to 6 slices of bacon. So I'll put this recipe at 97zokonline.com if you want to actually cook it. You can read that, but otherwise you can just start with the sugar like I'm going to start with. This is 1.5 cups of white sugar, and you are going to beat that with 1 cup of softened butter. You have to remember about butter that 1 stick is 1/2 cup. It's very easy to make that mistake and screw that up, but it's easy if you remember that 1/2 cup of butter is 1 stick. Then when you need 1 cup, you remember to use 2 sticks. You also want to have your butter softened. When I'm baking like a day like today, obviously this is what I'm doing today, I just leave the butter out all day. It's fine. You can do the same thing with milk and eggs. All your dairy products are totally fine no matter what if you leave them out all day. Once you have creamed the sugar and the butter together, you're going to add the eggs. There are 2 eggs in this recipe. You can add them one at a time or both at the same time. With cakes, I think 1 at a time is like a bigger deal. With cookies, just add it all at the same time. It'll make your life easier. So you mix that in together, and once the eggs are just kind of incorporated is when you're gonna make sure the vanilla goes in. So there is 2 teaspoons of vanilla going in this. All your wet ingredients, so you're going to mix these together until they are looking like one, so they don't look like scrambled eggs anymore. So you're going to mix them until they look like they are smooth. Once your wet ingredients are done, you're going to mix your dry ingredients. I already have in here 2 cups of flour, 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. It's good to mix all your dry ingredients first because, like, think about how little salt is in here. If you put it all in once, there's a chance that all the salt's going to be in 1 cookie, which is weird. And especially when you're making things with bacon, which is salty to begin with, you want to make sure it all gets evenly distributed. That's also why you do not put the dry ingredients all in exactly at the same time. I mean, you don't have to be super slow or anything, but you do want it to mix with the wet ingredients at a good pace. There's also cocoa powder in this recipe, 2/3 of a cup, and you can mix that in with this. It doesn't really matter. Once your cocoa powder and your flour is all mixed into your wet ingredients, you're going to add your bacon and your chocolate. So if you're going the lazy way or the busy person way and you bought bacon bits, 1 tablespoon is equal to 1 slice. So this recipe called for 6 slices, so I'm going to use 6 tablespoons, which I think is actually not that much. If you want to add more, that's a great thing about cookies. You did the science part already. The baking soda's in there. So you can add as much bacon as you really want. And then we're going to go with 2 cups of chocolate. The recipe says semi-sweet, but for some reason I want to use milk. And I think it's just because there's bacon in here, and like, to me, bacon is going to be so meaty and salty that, like, I think milk chocolate might be a better combination for that. Maybe I'm wrong. I think I'm fine. I think it's gonna be fine, whatever you pick. And then you're gonna mix that all together. And then when this is done, we are going to drop them on a baking sheet. And we're gonna cook these at 350 for just 10 to 12 minutes. The other thing to remember about cookies is once you have a base recipe of a cookie, the add-ins, like the bacon and the chocolate, can be swapped out. So you can make any cookie a bacon cookie, just as long as you make the regular cookie recipe like to the cookie that you know. So a regular old chocolate chip cookie recipe, add bacon, and you have bacon chocolate chip cookies. These are chocolate chip bacon cookies, so that's what we have today. You can make your cookies into balls with your hands. You can use cookie scoops that I left at my apartment, or you can use an ice cream scoop. The point is that when you use some sort of scoop, the chances that your cookies are going to be the same size is a lot higher, and that's why I like to do that. These say, what does it say here? Rounded spoonfuls. That's not a measurement. So again, like, as long as your cookies are the same size, then when you bake them, they will most likely bake evenly. You want to make sure the bigger the cookie you have, that you do leave enough space in between them on the cookie sheet. Like, the worst thing in the world is when you spend all this time making cookies, especially really interesting cookies like bacon cookies, and then you cook them too close to each other on the pan, and then they turn into one giant cookie. Well, that's fine. You can't really break that up and give it to people for Christmas. So don't do that. Make sure your cookies are uniform and leave enough space. And again, we're just going to bake these at 350 for 10 to 12 minutes. So this is what they look like. I think the recipe said, what, like 12 to 14 minutes, but I definitely baked them for 15 to 16. If you used real bacon instead of bacon bits, you might be able to see it. But you can definitely smell it and you can definitely taste it.